It's Monday, and it's the start of the legal tampering period for NFL free agents, and fast and furious will be an understatement for the plethora of moves in the NFL. From a Ravens perspective, big news over the weekend as they re-sign one of their own to protect the blind side and solidify the line for Lamar Jackson. We're going to go around the NFL, take a look at some of the moves, give our reactions to it, good, bad, and ugly. We're going to get goofy with Cavante. Take a look at some of the major headlines in the world of sports. LeBron, he's hurt. How long? What impact will this have on the Lakers? We'll take a look at the Ravens, take a look at the Commanders. And by the way, Maryland is number 2 in the Big Ten. Double bye. Friday night they'll play. May get a little bit of Maryland talking as well. Baseball, less than 3 weeks away. We'll talk about all that and much more on the Flex Zone podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell, vote on the poll. Let us know your thoughts on the NFL free agency impact and what signing is your favorite. Episode 481. Sending the internet into a frenzy more than these notifications every second of NFL signings as the NFL legal tampering period is upon us. It's the Flex Zone podcast, episode 481. The only place, fellas, give me sports how you want it.
When you need it.
And another illustrious guest joining us in the NFL. He's going to break it all down for us. He is a guru in his own right. We're going to talk all about that in 1 second. But let's get to the crew. You guys know Twitter, Instagram, Flex Zone Podcast on TikTok. And of course, we always want to hear from you in the chat as well. Let's kick things off with our social media producer. Big Raj is excited. Ronnie Stanley is still a Raven, and he's interested to see where they go next and what coupon they use.
Finish him, Daddy.
That's one big son of a bitch! Finger licking good special. That's what I'm talking about.
Did you contribute to the contract of Ronnie Stanley? I know they're tight on cash.
Hey, man, I was looking at my couch, looking penny pinching, you know what I'm saying? Trying to dig up all the lint and change that I can get, for this free agency because, we don't have any money, as EDC said at the combine. But I did what I could, man. And it got the job done, as you can see. We got Ronnie back. Ronnie's back, baby. But, we sitting pretty on day one doing absolutely nothing. But, you're watching everybody else, get their people and, cheering and doing all kinds of great things. As Cavante is going to tell you in a minute.
Next man, captain of the Goofy Ship, the co-founder, the senior producer, Cavante Bebe, and I think he would like to hear this song today because his team is spending the dough.
Those haters can't stand us. Left hand up. Commanders. We fight for RDC. Who are we?
Well, now that's goofy. Stupid. Just stupid. Jam. Oh, jam.
How you feeling, man? Free agency, and you're not just spending money for nothing. It's leading to winning.
Oh yeah, man. I'm excited. I haven't been in this position. I can say I've never been in this position ever. After the great season that we've had, to have the money that we have and be able to actually spend it. The first signing was a little but the Laramie Tunsil trade, there it is. Perfect. A1. So I'm sitting pretty right now. I'm definitely sitting pretty right now. I want I want him to make a couple more moves, but I'm cool thus far. I'm cool.
Can't wait to talk all about it with you. This next man is the other co-founder, the senior producer, the dean of Ball So Hard University, the pride of the Eastside savior of misbehavior, Laker Nation's own, of course, the one and only Jersey Dre. What's going on, man?
Hey man, look, Lakers we're in second place, but LeBron is hurt. We'll still be good though. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Oh, we do.
The Samoan werewolf. I love you solo. Acknowledge me.
Maybe a little foreshadowing as Raw is on in the background, but enough about us. We have another illustrious guest, so grateful with his time joining us up tonight late. He's crunching the numbers. He's doing the things that make people like myself head hurt because he understands the numbers. He understands the analytical aspect of what we look for and why we wonder why guys get signed, why they don't. He looks at the contracts. He looks at the numbers. He is of the Russell Street Report. He talks about the business of Baltimore Ravens football. Ravens salary cap guru, an organizational analyst. You hear him on 105.7 The Fan. You hear him throughout your airways and all types of media platforms. You know the name, the one and only Russell Street Report's own cap guru, Brian McFarland, joins the Flex Zone podcast. Everybody, please, if you could, put your hands together and give him a nice warm welcome to the Flex Zone podcast. What's going on, Brian?
Hey there. How's everybody's evening so far?
Doing great, man. How about yourself?
Good. Can't complain.
Well, let's get straight to it, Brian. For those who don't know who you are, let them know what you do in your own words and just a little bit about yourself and kind of how you ended up doing what you do today.
Sure. So my salary cap involvement goes all the way back to the purge year of 2002. We were all still new to the NFL again, and the salary cap was new to us. And all the Baltimore Sun could explain was they had to cut everybody for salary cap reasons. And nobody explained what that meant. So at that point, I started digging into it, and over time was back then because it was message boards, it was before Twitter, and was just posting things on that. And Tony Lombardi from Russell Street Report picked me up and said, "Hey, you want to write some articles?" And so I started writing articles. That was 2006, and I'm almost 20 years into it now. Next year will be 20 years. So yeah, I just, try to get the numbers together. Twitter being down earlier today was kind of made it hard, although the Ravens didn't make any moves, so I guess it didn't matter much. But yeah, try to get the numbers together. And, there's the kind of a little cottage community of us salary cap guys out there. So communicate with guys from other teams and honestly learn something new every day. There's always a little nuance here or there that I wasn't aware of.
Can you talk about real quick how the Ravens salary cap is at this present moment after the Ronnie Stanley contract? What the numbers are telling you, or if you can tell me?
Yeah, I'd love to, but we haven't seen the full numbers on Stanley's deal yet, and I'm kind of surprised. We know the gross numbers, as in the largest numbers, not that they're terribly ugly or gross that way, but 60 million, 44 million guaranteed. That 44 million is going to be paid in those first 2 years. How that breaks down is still to be determined, but without knowing if it's signing bonuses, what his salaries are, and whether there's void years added, it's still too hard to say. So right now, and there's still a couple other things, but right now they have about 10.5 million in cap space. Stanley's deal is going to take up most of that. They've got to figure out the RFA tender for Darius Washington, the low tender, which means if another team signs him to an offer sheet, the Ravens can match, but there's no draft pick compensation since he was undrafted. That's a little over $3 million. And then if they want to ensure he's here, they can use the second round restricted free agent tender, but that's over $5 million. So neither of them are cheap. But they have to make that decision, or of course, if they can get an extension done before all teams need to be under the cap Wednesday at 4:00 Eastern. So they still got time to get that figured out.
What is the first move you think the Baltimore Ravens are going to make?
Well, I would if it's re-signing one of their own, I would think Pat Ricard would be the most likely one. Washington would be, because there's a little bit of a deadline there if they could get an extension done there. But Ricard shouldn't be terribly expensive. I mean, not a lot of teams use fullbacks anymore. Kyle Juszczyk just got released by San Francisco, so that puts a name out there too that teams might look to. I mean, obviously they're different cats as far as their skill sets. The one team I'd be most worried about with Ricard would be, let's go say San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers. But they kind of have their own project, Pat. They turned a defensive lineman, I think he's even bigger than Ricard, into their fullback this last year. And I don't know if he's as good as Ricard, but my guess is they'll kind of stick with that. But obviously with Jim Harbaugh out there and Greg Roman, obviously, that seems like a team that would be interested, but I don't think that's going to happen. So being that he's a fullback, I think he'll be the next guy, the next signing. Outside signing, who knows?
So I know we're talking about the Ravens cap, but can you explain the cap, for example, with like the Dallas Cowboys, who have a lot of money tied up into Dak Prescott, have money tied up into CeeDee Lamb, and the next person would be Micah Parsons if they decide to re-sign him, but that's three men taking up majority of your cap. How is the wiggle room around Dallas or another team in their position being able to sign other people? Because it seems like the Philadelphia Eagles are able to just keep signing people, but Dallas seems cap restricted. So can you explain that a little further for us?
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhat a different. It's different philosophies. Which philosophy you want to use? The Ravens certainly are more on the more conservative end of the cap. The Eagles are on the other extreme. The Cowboys are more obviously on the conservative end. Now, the Cowboys did just restructure Dak and restructured CD, so they actually created $35 million, I think. It might have been more than that. So restructuring contracts is the way you spread the money out into future years. You're buying cap room this year for less cap room in the future. So, and that's where what the Eagles do a lot of. They use a lot of void years, which obviously it worked. And for them it worked. Other teams have used a lot of void years. Cleveland, Jacksonville, New Orleans. It hasn't worked. So, I mean, you got to be good. And I mean, the Ravens front office is pretty good at talent acquisition, but it is an all-in approach. Because of those void years, Jalen Hurts, his contract ends in 27 or 28. And the following year, there's $97 million in dead money from the void years. That's if he's not extended. But, if he has a catastrophic injury or something like that, that's going to be a mess. So, it's what philosophy you want to use. The Ravens have started using some void years. They did with Odell Beckham a couple of years ago. And the part of the reasoning behind that was they were trying to create as low cap numbers as they could for their players to have enough cap space that if somebody came in with an offer sheet for Lamar, they were going to be able to match it. So they said they did that, and it was kind of noticed to the world, so to speak, or at least the other 31 teams, that if you're coming after them, we've got enough cap flexibility that we're going to match. So don't waste your time. And obviously nobody did. And, a month or so later, the Ravens and he reached a contract where now he's, I think, ninth. He was number one then. And as far as quarterback contracts, now he's down to ninth.
Yeah. So is that kind of what happened with the Denver Broncos in their situation with the Russell Wilson contract, where they just kind of took the loss as far as the dead money, so that way the following year, like this year, they're able to sign more people?
Yeah, I mean they when they released him, they really took because there was some still fully guaranteed salary in there too. So they took the big hit last year. He's still on their books this year, but I want to say a more reasonable $20 million in dead money or something like that, not the 50 or 60 that it was last year. So, I mean, that's what happens with contracts, and that's what happens with contracts that fail. Obviously, you can look at Deshaun Watson's contract in Cleveland. With all the injuries and obviously and just his poor play, to be honest with you, that's turned out to be an albatross for them, and that what they just keep kicking the can down the road, hoping to spread it out as far as they can. But they're going to have a big number in the next year or two. Obviously, they're not moving off of him this year, but in 26 or 27, I think they'll probably release him next June to spread that money through between 26 and 27, which is what Denver did with Wilson. They did a post June 1 release, which allowed them to split it up over last year and this year. Usually the second year's number is bigger, but last year, because he had 30-some million in fully guaranteed contract. I mean, that's kind of crazy that you pay a guy 30-some million not to be with your team anymore.
Now, how often do you see? Sorry, Val, this will be the last one. How often do you see like something like that? Because you named Russell, you named Russell, you named Deshaun, but is this kind of like a trend now for teams, or how will that be like in the future? Because usually we see a lot in sports where a team will follow another team's pattern. And I'm sure that Russell, Deshaun, these won't be the last two contracts where teams are eating up majority of their money, spreading it over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, there have been others. When Philadelphia traded Carson Wentz, they were hit with like 30-some million, which was a lot for them, because that was 5 years ago or so. Matt Ryan, same with Atlanta, when they traded him, they took on a big chunk of. So it's going to be quarterbacks generally, although the way some of these non-quarterback contracts are getting over, over the last couple of days, 40 million. So those could be difficult too at some point. But I think the biggest thing is the huge increases in the cap over the last 2 years has made it easier for teams to do that. Without tearing everything else apart. You're going to have to take a step back. You're not going to be signing a lot of outside free agents and things like that, and you might have to let a couple guys go you don't want to of your own. But I think you're going to see that, because I mean, they're just even the middle quarterbacks making 40 million a year. That becomes problematic because he's a middle quarterback. He's not a star. And if he turns out to play like an average quarterback, then you're at some point as you set your contracts up, they usually go up in cap numbers each year. And you get to those latter years, you're kind of like, okay, well, this is too much now, because he's still the average quarterback he always has been.
Go ahead, Bramante.
I wanted to know how is the dead cap calculated?
Sure. So what happens is, and to try to do the numbers is off the top of my head, but if you sign a guy to a 5-year contract and you have a $5 million signing bonus, that bonus is prorated over the 5 years. So it doesn't all count in the first year. It counts $1 million in each of those years. So if you sign him, and if his first year salary is $1 million, then even though he's getting $6 million in the first year, he actually only counts $2 million against the cap. $1 million in the salary and $1 million in the first bonus, $1 million bonus proration. If you cut the guy after that, this is where the dead money comes in. So if you cut the guy in the second year, you have to still account for those last 4 bonus prorations because you paid him the money. If it's future salary, you're absolved of that as long as it's not guaranteed, because you cut him. But for money you've already paid out, you have to account for that. So if that player gets cut in the second year, all those bonus prorations accelerate into that year. So all 4 of them would count in that year, and that's dead money. So you would have $4 million in dead money right there. So and then you add void years in, which spreads the money out can spread the money out a little further in some cases. They used that on Beckham because it was a 1-year deal. So using that same, not using Beckham, but using that same example, if you gave the player a 1-year deal for $6 million, normally all 6 would count in that because there's no years to prorate. If you add void years, then you add years to prorate. So again, we go back to the 5 years. So again, he goes back to a $2 million cap number instead of 6. And then again, same thing happens but void years do the same thing. They all accelerate the next year. So it's kind of the same thing. But void years are generally on either much bigger contracts or 1-year deals, because those 1-year deals are, if you sign a guy to 1 year, $10 million, without void years, the whole 10 million counts in that 1 year. And that's sometimes hard on the cap.
My question is this. We've seen that the cap has jumped up this year, like about what, $15 to $20 million. How does the league, like, how do they pretty much determine how the cap is going to like fluctuate out throughout the years?
Sure. So the cap is, and now the Players Association and the NFL have some leeway on this, and there's always some things they have to negotiate before the final number comes out. But the cap is really set. It's a mathematical formula based on league revenue. Certain things from league revenue are included, certain things are not. Certain percentages of things are included, certain percentages are not. And then the players get 48.5% of that, whatever. So that they calculate the league revenue. And again, that's not exactly what the league is bringing in. But it's based on, again, that calculation. And then they divide it by or multiply it by the 48%. And that's how you get to the salary cap. So now, the reason there was some delays this year and some negotiation is when the cap went down in 2021 after COVID, they borrowed from future years. So, I mean, that cap went down 30 some million, if I remember correctly. It probably would have gone down like 60 or 70, but they ended up borrowing from future years. So the last couple of years cap should have been higher. But since they borrowed from it, they were repaid. So that, if it went up 30 million, I'm just using 30 million, but if they borrowed 30 million, then they took 10 million off of the last 3 years capped, for instance. So that's where there's some negotiation, and they also, both sides don't like the huge jump, and I don't think they can avoid it now with the gambling money and this newer TV contract now, but. They generally don't like huge jumps because then teams base their contracts on a huge jump, and then if next year it doesn't go up as much, you've already planned out your contract for the 5 future years or whatever it might be. So they try to keep it relatively smooth, and teams know that. So if it goes up by 20 million this year, you can expect it to go up by 20 or 21 or 22 maybe next year. But if it went up by 30 this year, then teams might be, okay, it's going to go up by 30 and then goes by 10. And now players are getting cut, which the Players Association doesn't like. So they care about that too. You would think, okay, we'll get bigger contracts. That's great. But when the guy gets cut 2 years later and doesn't see half the money, it's not so great. So that's where they have some leeway to kind of smooth it out sometimes. But that's basically, it's all based on league revenue.
You think there'll ever be a time where there's fully guaranteed contracts in the NFL?
I think Deshaun Watson really shot that one in the rear end.
Boy, oh boy.
Now it could, it's one of those things you're going to have the right timing. So, Lamar's contract, let's just use Lamar as an example. Mm-hmm. His cap number this year is 43 million. It jumps to 72 million or 70. I'm sorry, almost 75 million next year. So they're going to have to redo that contract. They're going to extend it, add more years and kind of smooth it out. He'll get plenty of money. But, and most of it will be guaranteed because that's just the way these contracts work. He's young enough. He's going to see the next 5 years of any contract he plays under. So it's going to take, so now fingers crossed, the Ravens win the Super Bowl next year. Lamar's MVP of the league, MVP of the Super Bowl. And the Ravens are like, okay, this $72 million cap number is too big. We've got to reduce this. Well, Lamar's got all the leverage in the world to say, okay, well, you kind of say when we have these negotiations that it's pretty much guaranteed anyway. Well, let's make that a fact and do that. So it's going to take a guy like that. I mean, if Lamar had come off of a Super Bowl win before he signed this, when he was going on the franchise tag, if he came off a Super Bowl win and another MVP at that point, he might have gotten fully guaranteed. Because I don't know how you couldn't at that point. Especially after Watson got it, and obviously that's because that's flamed out so spectacularly. I think anybody trying to get it now, except in a very, very unique case, Lawrence Taylor is at his prime, and coming off of a 23 sack year or whatever his, I remember his top one, maybe it was 21. But that kind of player, if it's going to be a non-quarterback, but I think it's got to be those circumstances, at least until the next collective bargaining agreement, because it is really difficult if that contract goes south, and we're seeing with Watson. I mean, you're just screwed. I mean, you're not just screwed for 1 year; you're screwed for 3 or 4 years. So that's the cautionary tale of it. And he probably wasn't the right guy. Well, clearly wasn't the right guy to get it. Lamar might have been the right guy to get it. It doesn't say anything bad about anybody. It doesn't seem like he's ever going to get in any kind of trouble or anything like that. It's that kind of guy that it's going to take. And Lamar could be that guy. He's just got to win us a Super Bowl, and we'll go from there.
So basically, Deshaun messed it up for everybody.
I think so. Yeah, I think
Cleveland.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
because I'd have taken the money too. Because I took the money.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. If they offered, there's no way he was going to say no. I don't deserve it. But yeah, they offered that, and I mean, the story was that Atlanta and somebody else were down to the final. It might have been New Orleans. It was the final two, and he told Cleveland they were out, and they spun back around and said, "Okay, fully guaranteed." He's like, "Okay, you're back in," and that was that.
Yeah. But since we're talking about fully guaranteed contracts, do you think that there will be a time where the contracts are across the board fully guaranteed, like how they are in like baseball, basketball, in the NFL eventually?
That's going to be tough because you've got so many players. I mean, the NBA's 15 players on your roster, I believe. Baseball is 26 or 27 now. I don't know what hockey is, but it's just really difficult when you have that many players. They would have to totally redo the way the salary cap works, because or if it is fully guaranteed and you're cut at some point, that's that dead money I was talking about earlier, which would normally count against the cap. But maybe there's some mechanism that if it doesn't, or they, dead money. Dead money would probably not have to matter anymore. I mean, because even undrafted free agents, are getting. I mean, it's not much of a bonus, but that's good. It adds up over time. So they'd have to really redo the whole way the cap works, and I'm not sure either side wants to get into that. I mean, that's starting from zero, and while the cap has its warts at times, I mean, it's something that's worked pretty darn well for almost 30 years now. So I would think that would be a hard sell probably the players want the fully guaranteed contracts, but I don't know that a blanket fully guaranteed is something they would push for.
What do you think for these Baltimore Ravens? EDC says we don't have any money like that. Granted, because of Lamar's contract, Mark Andrews' contract, a couple other people's contracts that are big numbers. What can we do to open up cap room to sign our rookies that's coming in? Our rookies that's coming in, and also maybe one or two good free agents. Like, what can we do?
Sure. So there's really about 5 or 6 contracts. I mean, usually there's more. There's really not. Usually there's 3 or 4 guys you're like, okay, they're getting cut, and that's going to create a decent amount of cap space. There really isn't this year. So that makes it a little difficult. But there's 5 contracts that that make or break, so to speak, this offseason. We just talked about Lamar a little bit. Ideally, you want an extension now to spread out this year and not have to worry about 72 million or 75 million cap numbers in 25 or 26 and 27. You just want to get that issue taken care of. But if not, and they want to create cap space, they can restructure his deal. It's going to increase that 75 million up to about 80 for both of those years. But it could create about, I think it's about 16 million in cap space this year. So an extension would probably create about the same. So that's one deal. Marlon Humphrey, pretty much same thing. Extension or restructure. Ideally, it's an extension because that smooths it out on your terms. It doesn't create a bigger cap number in 26 for him, which is his last year of his deal. And it secures him beyond 26. So that those two are extensions or restructures. Roquan Smith would be a restructure. I believe that's about 9 million could be saved there. That's at anytime you restructure, you're adding to the player's cap numbers in the rest, for the rest of his contract. So you're eating into cap space in the following years. Adafe Owe, because he's on the 5th-year option at about 13 million, that could create an extension there. Now the prices went out. The prices today were a little higher from some guys than I thought they would be. So, but you could secure him beyond this year, because it's basically a 1-year deal this year on the 5th-year option. But they might rather see him play out, let this year play out, and might cost them more next year. And then everybody's going to complain why he didn't sign him last year. But, a lot of, when he's been mentioned on Twitter or X, it hasn't been a very positive, yes, let's get him extended. So, but we'll see if people remember that they said that a year from now, if he puts up 15 sacks next year, and they got to use the franchise tag on him. So Derrick Henry's the other big one. DaCosta sounded very positive about getting something done. That would he's only under contract for next year. You probably could add 2 years to that. Figuring he'll be good at least for 2 more years. I mean, the guy keeps himself in incredible shape. Obviously, it could be good for beyond that, but at some point, Father Time's going to take its toll. So, but if you extend him for 2 years, that's 3 more years. So, if you get 2 of the 3 out of that, it probably is a good deal. Plus, it'll reduce this year's cap number. I think that was 5, or was that 6? But so Mark Andrews was the other one, and right now, I don't know. They're so quiet. I mean, you hear all these. If they're going to trade him, you would think the other team would want to try and work out an extension, or at least talk to him about an extension before making the trade. Those things usually seem to get out to the press. We've seen a lot of those over the last week. So I really thought trade was going to be the number one. It's pretty 50-50 he'd be traded. Now I'm going to say it's 2080 he gets traded. Now, of course, as soon as we get off of this, we'll hear that he just got traded. Always seems to be the way it happens. But but I mean, I think at this point he's staying, and then it's a question of, do they extend him? Do they extend Likely? Because I don't think you're going to extend both, and I don't think either of them want to be here to be second fiddle to the other. So, I mean, that's been the most intriguing one. But I think we all thought, and maybe they might have an offer out. They might be out there saying, we want a 3rd round pick, and if you're not giving us which I don't think they're going to get, but if you're not giving us a 3rd round pick, then he's staying. Because the way the trades have been, if you get a 4th, I think you're happy. But they may value him even on 1 year, and he'll be a free agent next year and walk. But maybe they value him more this year than a 4th round pick in this draft. Because they feel obviously we're on the cusp, or we're so close, and not having Andrews would reduce, would certainly change the offense.
Speaking of a Ravens player we may not have, what are your thoughts about Justin Tucker moving forward?
Yeah, they've obviously been very silent on that. The reports were pretty damning, Not saying that they're accurate, but they are. The stories seem pretty well sourced, and the fact that they uncovered tweets going back to 2016 that mentioned it from just random people saying, "Yeah, I heard Justin Tucker's been banned from so and so or from several places." I don't remember exactly the wording, but that adds some credence to it that at least the rumor was out there then. So it's not like somebody's just making this up now for some reason. So, yeah. So if the Ravens wait for the league, I mean, they're going to have to do something by September, if not sooner. They'll certainly be bringing a kicker in, whether it's a draft pick or an undrafted free agent, or whether they sign a veteran for the minimum just to have another kicker here. I initially thought they would be releasing him. Cap wise, it doesn't make sense to do it without the post June 1 release designation, which they could do. You have 2 of those to do before June. You don't get the cap relief until June, but the player, it's really for the player. He just gets out on the free agent market in March, as opposed to being on the free agent market in June, which there isn't one anymore. And March is where all the money is. So, and they're already definitely using one of those on Marcus Williams. Tucker, there is one available for Tucker for that, but I don't know. It sounds like they really want the league to step in and suspend him first. But Rashid Rice was in that, that street racing thing, and he still has, and that was last off season. And he was, I know he went on IR, but that wouldn't stop them from suspending him. So the NFL moves at a snail's pace. So if the Ravens are waiting for the NFL to do something first, I'm not sure why, but so I wish I had a better answer than that. I think it's all a little puzzling to me. Now and let's face it, he didn't have a good year last year. It makes it easier to say. If he was all pro Justin Tucker last year, then maybe they're the way they're handling this makes a little more sense. But because he's 35 and coming off of a bad year, it seemed to me that just whether it's for not purely PR sakes, but PR sakes as well, because it all factors in. I thought they would have moved on, or at least announced they were moving on, and then we can until Wednesday cut him, because then we can use that post June 1 release. But here we are.
With the people that we lost today, I think we lost 4 Ravens. Are we getting any con picks from those 4?
We should get 3. Board, which was the most recent one that was reported. His numbers were 2 years up to $6 million, which up to generally means there's incentives in there, and the comp pick formula pretty much looks at just the base salary. So if there's $1 million in incentives in there, and just guessing, and the base deal is $5 million, he's going to be under the threshold most likely. So, but for the other 3, Pat McCarry, Brandon Stevens, both got deals bigger than I thought they would. Everybody is, granted, these days, but neither of them, while they both played a lot of snaps, neither of them were very stellar, to be honest with you. But at least for McCarry, and he's very versatile, obviously, but we saw John Simpson leave last year for a bigger deal than we thought, and the guy before that went to Denver, Ben Powers, went for a bigger deal than anybody thought would happen. So Stevens and McCarry will probably, assuming they don't get hurt, because part of the comp pick formula is how much they play next year with their new team, so it's based on snaps. But assuming they both were over 90% snaps this year, assuming they're in that range, I think they'll both be in 5th round comps. If not, they'll be the 2 of the top 6, and then Harrison should be a 7th. It's not a real big deal. This coming, which should be announced any day, but this draft we got a 4th for Queen, so, and a 5th for Clowney, and then 2 others. So that was a little better, but those were bigger names and obviously bigger deals. And obviously without Stanley, we weren't going to have a big, although the two did come in a little higher than we hoped. So we got to root for Stevens at the Jets and Macari with, who did Macari sign with?
He signed with
Jacksonville.
Okay, I'm not.
Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, so yeah, we should hope that they stay healthy and play well, and that will help our make sure those two comp picks are fifths, not sixth.
Well, Brian, before we get you out of here, what is next? We know the official league year starts Wednesday at 4 p.m. Kind of what is the timeline of what we can expect next from you, and what do you have cooking up on RussellStreetReport.com?
Sure. So right now, main thing is we're just waiting for those Stanley numbers to see, how the contract breaks down. So as soon as we have those will be on X. As we get closer to the draft picks, I'll have an article on how the draft pick, because it's a salary cap within a salary cap, so to speak. So I always have an article every year about how that works. And obviously any big signings we'll put out an article, but mostly this time of year it's on X. And one thing actually I thought of about Andrews, he does have a $4 million roster bonus due
March 20th.
It's the 17th actually.
Oh, okay.
So that will be that's D-Day, so to speak. That's decision day. If they pay that $4 million, then he's gonna be here because they would have cut him or traded him before that. So that's kind of when we'll know for sure, if we don't hear anything otherwise, if they don't come out and say it. But that's when we'll know for sure whether he's going to be here or not.
I don't want him to leave. I want him to stay, at least for his last year. So hopefully,
yeah, I mean, they're definitely better with him, but it's just, unfortunately with a salary cap, a lot of times you do have to pick where you're going to allocate your resources, and then the fact that he likely and Kohler are all free agents after this year kind of complicates it, because it does seemingly force some kind of decision. And if they're going to get likely, they would be better off. If it's going to be likely, they'd be better off getting him signed now and not wait a year. Now that they could still keep Andrews around if they, did restructures or extensions with Humphrey and Lamar. But again, that's, you're kind of, you're what's a robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, as far as the cap goes sometimes.
Brian McFarland, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, give it up for him. Make sure you check out his work at the RussellStreetReport.com.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you staying up late.
Appreciate you.
Yes, we know you're crunching the numbers, burning the midnight oil. Thank you for stopping by the Flex Zone. We're going to have to do this again soon before the season, once you get all the numbers and everything. And we'll be talking soon. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Once again, everybody. Brian McFarland.
Good night, man.
Of the Russell Street Report, joining us here on the Flex Zone. So big shout out to him. So make sure you check out his work at the RussellStreetReport.com. Tell him that the Flex Zone sent you, and you can follow him as well on X there as well. A lot to get into. Cravante and I touched on this a little bit yesterday. Dre and Raj. Eddie George, coaching at Bowling Green. He is the new coach after leaving Tennessee State. Raj, you remember the rivalry days of Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens against the Tennessee Titans? Those playoff games were actually in the same division at one point. Eddie George, now coaching at Bowling Green.
Hey, man, I do remember those days. And sometimes Eddie George got the better of us, and sometimes we got the better of Eddie George. He was one of those running backs that was kind of like Derrick Henry. He would run you over and he would keep it moving. But shout out to him for getting the Bowling Green job. I know he's been, doing this thing at Tennessee, but I think this is going to be a little bit better for him. And I always like to see, guys like him that's been positive and doing that thing and trying to give back, have better opportunities. So shout out to Eddie George.
Dre, what you think, man? We know about Dion, we know about Deshaun Jackson, Michael Vick, others. You got to think about the path that's being set for these coaches, and now opportunities at these other schools that they leave behind as well.
Yeah, it sucks that he's not going to be at an HBCU anymore, but you got to understand the business of football, and if it's an opportunity for more money or an opportunity for a better position for you as far as coaching to get you to where you want to ultimately be at, I don't get mad at it. get your money, and keep rising among the ranks.
Dre, I'm gonna stay with you real quick. Let's go back to Saturday. Roger and I were live with Rouse. LeBron James hurts his groin. Lakers still number 2 in the West, but they're on what they play like 6 games in 10 days or something. They're on a
Yeah,
East
it's
Coast
a
trip.
crazy schedule. They I know they were playing the Nets tonight, but
They lost.
they lost. God damn. I'll admit, without like if you look at the numbers with LeBron joining the Lakers versus with the Lakers, LeBron, they're above like 500. I think they have like a right at like 59 or 60% winning record, and then without LeBron, they're under 500 clearly. So LeBron is definitely needed, but this is also gives time for Luka, so that way we can see how Luka looks in a Lakers uniform without uh, LeBron, and they made the trade so that way this can be Luka's team moving forward. Uh, it sucks that LeBron has this injury, but I mean, even a fun stat I learned about LeBron today: he has never missed a playoff game. So if he's going to have the injury, have it now. Get rested, get ready for the playoffs, but they do have a grueling schedule coming up. I mean, the Nets, I was hoping for that W today, but they take on like the Bucks. They've got the Spurs. When the Nuggets are on that schedule, like they've got a pretty hard schedule within these next couple of days. So hopefully we can get it together. And even if they were to drop a few games, I don't see them dropping off too bad. But I think that number 2 seed helps the Lakers a lot, because I feel like any team in the West is beatable except OKC right now. OKC is the only team that I have pause for. Even the Denver Nuggets, I feel like they've gotten us in the past, but I feel like we can beat the Denver Nuggets in a 7-game series the way that Luka and LeBron are playing, along with Austin Reeves and I forgot we have another injury with the Lakers, but that person ought to be back as well. So I'm not too concerned, because it's not like an extensive injury. It's just a couple weeks, so a week or two with the groin injury, something that LeBron has had before.
I am
So,
concerned.
Real quick, looking at the schedule, you see Milwaukee this Thursday and then Denver on Friday, back-to-back days, both on one on TNT, one on NBA TV. Then Sunday, the Suns, who are fighting for their playoff lives. So not going to be easy down the stretch. But go ahead,
No,
Raj.
I'm not. I don't like this at all. Goes to Stephen A. Smith, talks goofy with him, and then all of a sudden, next game you get hurt. Come on, man. They picked the wrong time to get the groin injury. I mean, this is like the most crucial part of the season, especially when you're in the Western Conference where everybody's like a game within each other. So it's like you lose like 6 or 7 of these games, you can drop from the 2 seed all the way down to the 7 seed. So you're right back to square one. And we were trying to avoid OKC in the first round. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to avoid the play-in, honestly, as well. So it's like,
yeah.
So we're right now we're in a bad situation, man. Hopefully they can win half of these games, but if they can't, man, they in trouble, man. They in serious trouble.
I mean, Raj, it's always a bad time with an injury. I mean, Brunson got hurt in that Knicks game when we won that. So, as long as it's not, like I said, as long as it's not extensive injury, I'm okay. But you are correct when you say that they can't fall too hard, because one of the things is if they keep sliding, you'll see OKC in like that second round. You want to avoid that. You want to see, like I said, any other team, like the Grizzlies, the Rockets. You want to see the the Rockets right now. And I forgot. I don't think I want to really see the Warriors either. I think those are the 2 teams in the West I really don't want to see. Any other team on there, to me, is like easy pickings, because especially if you get like into a play-in. We've seen the Timberwolves aren't the same. Clippers, we same thing with the Kings. And Dallas is just injury prone right now. So I'm like I said, I'm just concerned with 2 teams right now from 1 to 6, and that's the OKC Thunder and the Golden State Warriors.
Go ahead, Cravante.
I was like, we be talking about LeBron James injury. We talking about the Lakers. I wasn't even sure where he was at, but I'm gonna start with what Dre said last. Stay out that 4-5 seed. Stay out of that 4-5 seed because you're playing OKC second round. That's what's what I'm saying that's what's pretty much is going to happen. I think and I didn't even realize OKC had this big of a lead on everybody else. Like that.
Man, the gap between them and the same thing in the East. If you look at the East,
Yes.
and you see the East, it's the same thing.
Yep. Well, not as big because the Cavs up there, but at least it's the Cavs Celtics. But man, it's OKC, and then it's 10 games, 11 games between them and the first between the first and second place teams. But listen, man, LeBron James, he continues to show why he's Iron Man, and even with injuries, like it's a week or two, I'll say, all right, well, we'll see how it is after this, 2 weeks. You just hope Luka can hold the team down and they stay afloat, because like Raj said, hey man, it's pretty tight. It's pretty tight in the West. Like I said, outside of that 1-2 where it's 11 game difference, everybody else between two to the play-in, pretty much 2 to the play-in. It's like four games between them. Like it's something crazy like that. So this is not a good time to get on a losing streak. So Luka, what you got? Because we need you right now. Because a week or two, how many games would that be? That's what, 6-7 games maybe.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's like because they playing back to back. So yeah, it's like maybe 6 or 7 or 8 games that they might miss.
Yeah. So at this point, you just want to at least come out 500. You know what I'm saying? Just so you could stay relevant. You may not be in the same 2 seed, but you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't drop to 7. So but the Lakers have been playing some good ball. So and I know he ain't get injured on this play, right? This was just the acting job. This is him going for the Oscar, right?
Well, according to
he didn't get the injury until the fourth quarter.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it wasn't
that-
on the Oscar play. This wasn't the Oscar play.
That was him doing this. That was him doing the Stanley Kaepernick right there.
Here y'all go. And then and then also when you look at that game too, I mean, they started making a comeback, but I just kind of felt like it was too little, too late at that point.
Chalmers.
Yo, Marcus is hilarious, man.
This is LeBron's record, actually, without him. So there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
They were 9-18, 9-18, 2-2, 12-15, 8-18, 13-14, 6-5, and 3-1 last year.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, but the thing is, what last year was the year when like Anthony Davis really started coming around, but them other years, man, I mean, this is horrible. And I remember the first time he really got hurt was that groin injury on Christmas Day. And what was sad about that is the Lakers start making some headway to be like the number 2 seed that year, and it just fell apart after that.
Well, we'll see what happens with the Lakers, LeBron, as the NBA season. They're down to under 20 games. So the end of the NBA season is near, and the playoffs are about a little bit over a month away. Can you believe it? Let's get to this craziness of the NFL. Let's go back to yesterday, Raj. Myles Garrett, he stand for the money. Highest paid non-quarterback. I thought he was leaving.
He's in that. He's a smart guy. Okay. He's a smart guy. I'm gonna say he's an idiot, but he's a smart guy. He's a well-paid guy. But he will be a loser. Okay. He will be a losing, smart, paid guy. And
are you saying he sold his soul for the money?
Of course he did. I mean, he sold his soul. I mean, the damn owner didn't even come down to talk to him. He just like, here the paycheck. He smacked him with bam. And he was like, ooh, I'll be around forever. Oh, yes. I love this team. This team is great.
I love this team. It's crazy.
After being on a Super Bowl roll, talking about and going in every interview talking about I need to be traded. I don't want to be here anymore. They're not very competitive. We don't have a quarterback. We don't have this, that, the third. But all of a sudden, all they do is smack you with a blank paycheck. And now all of a sudden you love this team again. This team is great. This team is phenomenal. This team is wonderful. You love it. It's ridiculous, man. But this is the Browns being the Browns. We just talked about Deshaun Watson with Brian McFarland. You know what I'm saying? And the goofiness that they gave, Deshaun Watson was with the guarantee. So they doing it again with Myles Garrett. Now, Myles Garrett is a great player. Don't get me wrong, but he's just one guy, and we gone against them for like what the last 5-6 years now, and they only made the playoffs how many times? What, one time, 1 or 2 times? It's just goofy, man. It's just really goofy. He should have went somewhere where he could have had a chance to compete for a championship. He's wasting his time in Cleveland. I believe he'll be 29 to 30 years old this upcoming season or something like that. It's just foolish, man. But this is what he wants. If he wants to be the highest paid non-NFL quarterback, that's great. You can add it to his resume. Maybe he can make himself a ring at Jacob the Jeweler. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, he ain't seeing no rings anytime in his career.
I mean, who's more goofier, him or Max Crosby? Because they both on losing teams that ain't going nowhere, but yet
it's Myles Garrett. It's Myles Garrett.
It's Myles Garrett.
It's Myles Garrett because he made it. He did a whole, and this is newsflash, goofy, but he did a whole goodbye to Cleveland. Like he did a whole.
Oh, did they? Cavante, they missed the. Did they miss? I don't think they heard the statement. Remember, we got the statement live yesterday. I don't know if they. I had to see if I can find the statement.
He made a whole statement too,
bro. Like, yo, Max Crosby didn't do none of that.
Yes.
The best we could do, yo. He said 40 million.
I mean, look,
okay.
I'm never mad at somebody getting their money, but it just reminds me of like I just wonder a lot with these athletes nowadays. Do you want a chip or do you want the money? Like, I mean, and when you have an opportunity to like go somewhere and get the money, why don't you pursue that? You already have the bag as is, and I think the only person that should be mad about their money right now in sports is Luka, because you cost me $100 million after I just took you to the championship. Like, we're right in the. That means we're right in the mix to do something. But this whole thing with Myles, I just thought that was just insanity. Like, I mean, the money is good, but damn, man, you said you want to win. Apparently, you don't want to win.
Well, I do have the statement, and we like to read, especially from our sources here on the Flex Zone. So, to the great sounds of Doc. From the words of Myles Garrett to God's ears. Well, Jimmy Haslam's ears, because he gave him $40+ million, just like he gave Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed contract. As a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl. And that goal fuels me today more than ever, plus $40 million. My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and this incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life. These past 8 years have shaped me into the man I am today. While I've loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It has always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. And this was in bold, ladies and gentlemen. With that in mind, I have requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns. Signed, Myles Garrett, 95. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what happened between then and there, but he had a whole statement.
Probably when he found out that the Browns weren't going to trade him, but they could offer him more money, he was like, I'll take it.
Let's just say the owner said, N-word, take this money and sit down.
Which I just don't still understand, because you've seen players hold out and be able to get out of deals. I mean, Hassan Hassan Reddick got out of a deal and then got shipped from the Eagles to the Jets. It's possible for you to get traded in the NFL if you just show. I mean, I'll never forget Brandon Marshall, the way he was acting with the Denver Broncos, kicking balls at the who was Josh McDaniels during that tenure and that whole debacle. So yeah, if you want to get out, you can get out.
Real quick, Jay Ronnie, you like to move?
Do I like the Ron Stanley move? No, hell no. You know how I feel about this. I never was a fan of Ron Stanley. I thought that we would be better off having somebody else in that position because I feel like the draft, you can get some offensive linemen. And I mean, I just feel like he just makes these mistakes at the worst
Byron,
time.
tell him no. Tell him no, Byron.
Bro, stop. The whole diatribe.
Bro,
no.
stop.
Hell no. We needed him back. He was the only
Ain't
option.
nothing in the draft for you, player.
Nothing.
Ain't nothing in the draft, bro.
Nothing in free agency either. As you see what you saw Commanders just did. They had to go trade for a top
And
10.
we was if y'all had let him go, we'd have pounced on Ronnie Stanley. Pounced on him.
He is not that good, yo. Like I remember that first game with Cleveland, and then he was just killing drives. This dude, he's okay, but he's not all that.
He's
to me.
good enough. The last 2 years,
I don't want good enough. God damn it!
I want good enough to the point where Lamar's not hurt. He wasn't hurt these last 2 years, so I don't want to hear that. You be respectful to Ronnie Stanley.
I'll be respectful when he actually doesn't stop being goofy.
He protected the blind side, and he's going to continue to protect the blind side for these next 3 years. Watch him learn.
I mean, look at that offense, man. You don't have many holes. You don't have many holes on that offense. I'm just saying.
We didn't even have a top offensive line, though.
But we were good enough. We were good enough last year.
I think now, Dre, they got a top 5 O-line in the league. If you go down every O-line, and Cavante will probably agree with me. If you look at every O-line in the league, you put the Ravens 5 against anybody else 5, they're in the top 5. They're in the top 5.
Yeah, but I gotta see it. I'm not saying that we don't have a good line, but when I just think about other teams, and
I mean, really, let's be truthful. How many teams have a great offensive line?
Look at how the people are getting paid today, Cravante. The Chiefs paid a guy who only has 4 starts over $30 million to be their left tackle.
The Philadelphia Eagles have, to me right now, the best offensive line.
Look how much Morgan Moses got paid. Morgan Moses ain't good. He's 34 years old, and the Patriots paid him top dollar.
That's the need. Look, bro, it's the Lions and the Eagles. Who else? Who else have a good offensive line? The Browns had one.
The Rams.
Okay. With Whitworth, they had a top O line, but not since then. They haven't had a better one. I'm just saying you can't name 5.
There you go, Dre.
You can't name 5.
There you go, Dre. He's a top 5 left tackle, Dre. He's a top 5 left tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you didn't hear my diatribe, but let me say this real quick. Stanley was no, don't get me wrong. He's had his ups and downs with this team. He's been hurt a lot, but you know what? The Ravens stuck by him, and he stuck by the Ravens, and he did right by us. He put that leg back together. It took him 2 years to do it, but he put it back together, and he even gave money back last year. He's like, you know what? I'm going to give you some money back because I haven't played up to my potential, but I'm going to show you and I'm going to prove that I can play the entire season. And he did that for the Ravens. And on top of that, the Ravens rewarded him with not a great contract, but a good enough contract for him to be like, you know what? I'm going to stay here because my loyalty is to this Baltimore Ravens team. So any player that's like that can be on my team any day of the week. Because he could have went out there and got $25 million or $30 million on the market. The Commanders would have definitely gave it to him in a heartbeat.
Yep.
The Patriots would have
not thought twice about it.
The Patriots would have definitely did it.
But Dre, I told Gravante this yesterday. What team in the NFL has a top 5 left tackle, and potentially a top 5 right tackle for the next 3 to 4 years.
And a pretty good center too.
He's a top
Yes.
5 center. Well, not
He's a
maybe
top 5 center.
Maybe top 5, top 10 center.
It's hard because
Yeah.
we
So,
really don't talk
listen.
about centers a lot, but he's up there.
He was picked in the first round. I know that for a reason.
I'm just saying, man. This is how championship teams are won. Cavante, any last words real quick before we go down 95?
I loved it. I was hoping y'all didn't do it. I loved it. I love it for y'all. I was hoping. I was like, ooh, I just knew y'all were gonna do it. I just knew it. I was like, Ronnie Stanley finna be in DC, but y'all signed him. I was like, oh man, what are we gonna do at left tackle now? Then the Larry Tunsil thing came up, so I'm like, I'm all right. Listen, man, left tackles don't grow on trees. I how many times did I say that yesterday, Byron? These premier positions, these guys who play these premier positions, they do not grow on trees. You can't just throw a left tackle out there and be like, oh, we'll just find one in the draft, bro. Listen, this draft, interior O-line, sure. Offensive tackle, they're gonna be gone top 15. No, there's no way to get one, and you don't have time to really develop a left tackle. When you need a left tackle, you need him now. You need him right now. You don't have time. Even if you were to get a rookie, you need time for him to develop, get up to speed. We ain't got time for all that. The best pass rushers come from that side. We ain't got time for all that. You know what I'm saying? So I loved it. I love the move for y'all. Even though y'all didn't do much today, but I thought that was the most important part to take care of. So good.
That was the biggest domino.
Absolutely. And I think he was a top free agent. Period. He was definitely a top free agent offensive lineman.
Number one tackle. Number one tackle.
I will say this. I'm happy we got him instead of the Chiefs.
Sure, because he didn't been in the AFC Championship.
True.
Well, Cavante, how you feeling, man? Commanders making moves. Laramie Tunsil, Mr. Kinlaw. Mm-hmm. They bought Michael Gallup in, apparently. I mean, how you feeling, man? I'm gonna pull up the moves in a second, but yeah. How you feeling?
Man, I'm cool, man. I thought, like I said, the first Kinlaw was a head scratcher. Well, not Kinlaw, the money. The money was the head scratcher because it's like, I felt like it's kind of a lot for somebody.
Was that you, Cavante, today? Was that you all morning when I was dropping all the moves in the chat?
yes, and yes. But I saw Kinlaw and I was like, all right, cool. I heard Kinlaw from the 49ers and Jets, but then I saw the money. I was like, God damn, that's kind of a lot for a defensive tackle that's not really all that good against the run. Because I was like, all right, defensive tackle, maybe he's gonna be, because our run defense was terrible, you know what I'm saying, last year. So I was like, all right, defensive tackle, he could be in a rotation with now Deron Payne, Johnny Newton, and that was me at work. He's another rotational piece, but I felt like that's a lot of money to pay a rotational piece. So that first one was a head scratcher, but the move with Laramie Tunsil, great move. And I love us re-signing Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner and all that stuff. So I'm cool thus far. I'm hurt. I thought we was going to bring back Jeremy Chin. I'm kind of blown that we let him go, and it wasn't a crazy number. It was 2 years, $16 million. Now he's a Raider for that. And I'm like, God damn, I felt like we could have kept him for that. So I'm a little disappointed in us letting go Jeremy Lin. I knew Dami Brown was gonna go because the Jacksonville Jaguars, I believe, Byron, I don't know if you saw, but they paid him $12 million. I was like,
well, Cavante, I got to put you on. He is going to Guantanamo Bay.
Yes. So where he goes to perish at this point, but hey, by all means,
he'll get paid well. He'll get paid well. He'll get paid well, but he won't win.
Get your money, because the year he had a great playoff, but as a whole totality, $12 million was way too rich for our blood. So more power to you. But I'm hurt. I thought we was gonna keep Jeremy Chin, and us not getting Jeremy Chin, and then couple that with Hufanga going to, gosh, where did he go? He left the 49ers and he's with somebody else. The Raiders, I think the Raiders safety, he went to the Panthers. So it's like, God damn, we let him go and don't have a replacement for him. But I'm be patient. I'm gonna let Adam Peters do his thing. Mooney Ward got picked up by the Colts. You know, that hurt me, Byron. But and DJ Reed and Carlton Davis got picked up. So I was like, God damn, I wanted another corner. I wanted a DB of some sort, and I did not get him. So but John Bates, low key, sneaky good signing. One of the better blocking tight ends, along with Zach Ertz. And yeah, and of course, you know, the whole Debo thing, 5th round pick. We can't beat that at all. So I'm cool with it thus far. We still have the draft. We gave up a lot of picks for Larry Tunsil though. So this draft will be interesting. I'm gonna say this: we're gonna pull a Ravens. I don't think we're picking in the first round. At 29, I think we're going to trade out, just because the rest of our draft is so skimp because we're giving up draft picks to get these players. I think we only have like 6 draft picks or so, five or 6, something like that. So, and we're at pick 29. We're probably going to trade out.
You want some more?
How about this, Cravante? Javon Holland?
Come on, baby. Make it happen, Peters. Make it happen.
Roger, you like the Mandarin?
Hey, man, you know what? For the first time in my 37 years on this planet, I will say, well, I can't say the first time because he hasn't owned a team my entire 37 years, but from 1999 until last year, every time the Commanders made a move, we would laugh. It would be like, oh, look at them. Look at them getting them free agents that cost a lot of money. Artem Achaleta. Who else did y'all have? What was that big
Albert
dude?
Hainsworth.
Albert Hands up and down.
That was the worst.
Oh my God, man!
That Deion Sanders.
Fun.
That Deion Sanders element. That was
terrible too.
Y'all have had some bad ones.
Y'all had
Donovan McNabb. Well, no, I'm sorry, he got traded. That was bad.
It was all bad. Okay,
it didn't matter. It didn't
all
matter.
bad. Your free agency, y'all would go out there and just buy anything, like literally, and thought it was going, plug and play, and it never worked. Never did. But you know what? Ever since ownership has changed, and you have some people that actually know what the hell they're doing, this is gonna be beautiful for y'all, man. Y'all probably will be going back to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, the NFC
probably going back.
Five picks, Cravante.
We got 5. So yeah,
5
we got
picks,
5.
Cravante. First round, second, then you don't pick to the 4th.
Right, and that became that's from the Tunsil pick, like us getting a 4 back or something like that. So Byron, hey, can you check on Byron Murphy? Is he still out there?
He went back to the Vikings.
Yeah, they paid him $66 million.
Damn.
So he got resigned, but yeah, man, y'all might be going back to the NFC Championship game, man. The way y'all wheeling and dealing right now, coming off the gate swinging, yeah, y'all look out for the Commanders. I'm glad we don't play y'all next year.
I know, right?
I do not want to see y'all at all. Bad enough we saw y'all this year. I don't want to see y'all next year. No.
I think I'm gonna let Adam Peters do his he do his best work is like us in the late round of the draft. So I want more late round picks at this point. And Trey, what the Bengals doing? If we get Trey, if we get Trey Hendrickson, I'm good on free agency.
I might just get him. I would not be surprised. I really wouldn't. He going somewhere. That's
another good
contending team.
And yes, Larry Tunsil, the DMV is 420 friendly, so it's legal here. You don't have to worry about getting in trouble.
He get down, bro. Jesus Christ.
Why does he look like Big Groove?
It's legal.
You ever seen Big Groove?
Hey, man.
He looks just like Big Groove in that picture, or a fatter Tyler creator.
Well, well, at least now when we see him, we can do this.
No water,
That's one big son of a bitch!
And Mike,
Finish him, Daddy.
Also,
Mike.
here's a fun fact. Here's a real fun fact for you guys. During the 2016 draft, we were supposed to draft Larry Tunsil until he had that little incident with the weed.
he had the whole mask
Oh,
on.
when he had the mask on.
He had the
Yeah.
mask on.
Yeah, he had the mask on. And so he ended up drafting Ronnie Stanley. But now they both play in Maryland.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Wow.
Goofy. Look at him. Look at him. He jacked that money up, didn't he?
He did it. He didn't at the same time. So he still got paid.
He's still
Yeah.
getting paid too. Most of those guys ain't even with their teams no more.
Did y'all see Micah Parsons' tweet after we got Larry Tunsil? He said WTF. Because now you got to deal with him twice a year.
Yeah, he don't want them problems. Hey, Michael, you can always come to the Ravens though if you want. You know,
I'm not sure about this trade though. This pickup. I felt like there was a lot of money, but whatever.
They saw what the Eagles did, man. They're going to overpay for O-line and D-line. You know, we saw what the Eagles did.
Listen, man, get them trenches. Listen, the Eagles, their defense deteriorating like in front of us. Like they're just gone left and right. But that's how the Super Bowl goes. It's hard to keep everybody.
Yep.
Josh Sweat cashed in.
Let's get to the
y'all.
NFL. Yes, he did. He's going to play with Kyler. Maybe he plays Call of Duty. So let's get to the NFL free agency. A lot of moves to get to. Raj, I'm going to start with you. I'll just throw some on the screen. Y'all can jump out and say what you want, you know, about a minute or so. Let me pull that up real quick for the good folks. But Raj, I will start with you. A lot of money being handled. We're going to look at all of the signings. And I broke down earlier. Go ahead, Raj. I'll let you start off. Yeah, hold on.
so you kind of going in and out, and I can't see the list. Wait a minute. Okay. Chauncey Goldstein for the Giants. I guess that's a good deal. I don't know who this guy is. Duck Dodgers may have a deal.
There's some news for you.
Steelers, I don't want that to happen, but if he has to come,
Listen, check this out. What if Aaron Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh? It'd be a bunch of people who don't take accountability for anything. And George Pickens, Aaron Rodgers, and DK Metcalf.
And then on top of that, he'll be doing Pat McAfee on Tuesdays again. While Mike Tomlin, does his little shtick at the microphone at the press conferences.
There goes Byron Murphy.
Yeah, $66 million. That's a good pickup. Well, good resigning by the.
Yes, it is. But I think the Commanders had a number and they wasn't trying to go past it.
Dan Skipper. Who would? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, hey, he skipped right along and made the Lions pretty good, I guess. So that's a good sign.
Yeah. Ooh, big boy.
Now this one right here, I'm like, what the hell, man? He got you know how much money they gave him? Your former guy, they gave him like $51 million for like 3 years.
Stealing money. He is stealing money.
Man.
Yeah, he got like $51 million for like 3 years, man.
Hey, brother, hear these thoughts. Mike Tomlin is used to being stressed out, especially having some dysfunctional, not all that right in the head.
Antonio
receivers.
Brown. Yeah,
he's used to dysfunction and not having them crazy.
Antonio Holmes was one of his wide receivers. He's had some
crazy wideouts.
Damn, Kyle Juszczyk is a free agent. That's crazy. Yikes. He resigned. Oh God, they gonna need him because they get ready to trade Hendrickson.
I knew Najee was out of there. I knew he was out of there.
It's a wrap for Najee. Drake Greenlaw is when we want to.
I really like that move.
Yeah. When you said Kinlaw, this is what I thought about at first, and I was like, oh, but not quite.
Very entertaining.
Yes. Oh, the Cowboys actually signed somebody. Wow. Okay.
Yes. Jonathan Phillips.
Okay.
Can I take
Michael Gallup, or you're hosting them. That's
Okay.
not bad. Darius Slayton. This one made me mad because I wanted Darius Slayton.
He was on my list as well.
Yeah, he fits that big body receiver at 6'3" or 6'2".
Yeah, exactly. And
Ryan Kelly. Oh, he leaving the Colts.
Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah. A lot of moves. Zach Wilson still in the league.
Oh, well, he's signing with the Dolphins.
Who cares?
That means he will start at least one game this season.
Against the Jets.
Oh boy.
That means he will start at least one game because he's behind Tua. He will start a game this year.
Who's that?
Yeah,
Justin Watson. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's great. He was a former Chief.
There you go. Move on to another guy.
Man, I like this guy, man.
Yeah,
I like this
another one.
guy.
It's another one.
But
Right
that's around the same amount. That's around the same amount, pretty much, as Byron Murphy.
Damn, Josh Dobbs got a job.
Okay. These guys getting
Keep
paid.
a job.
It's like the NBA, man. You can be mid-level and still get 10 million, 15 million. Kenny Pickett's coming back to the AFC North.
At least he got a ring.
He does. Yeah. Any of these Dre or Cavante knock your socks off?
No,
No.
not at all. You know what the sad part is? Like our friend of the show, our good brother Nitro. I love Nitro.
But he's
That's my
panicking.
guy.
He's panicking.
No, he's not panicking. He already knows what the deal is, but he just gets in his emotions sometimes because we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything new. It's always the same song and dance where we don't do nothing on day 1 or day 2. And I'll be like, Nitro, it's okay, man. I understand. I feel you. I'm with you. You're right. But it's like, I mean, I get it, but it's like you already know what they're gonna do. They're not gonna do nothing. They're gonna wait until they get the price that they want, and then they'll bring them in. They're not gonna pay $36 million. No damn Brandon Stevens. Ain't doing that.
God dog it, man. I feel like we could have brought him back for that, man.
Hey, Miss Victoria, Miss Swift.
Hey, V.
But yeah, I mean, none of these moves really knock my socks off. It's not like
What y'all think about the Cavante? What I tell you?
That's the one. That's the one right there.
Your boy was going back to have the Ohio State reunion. Justin Fields, $40 million.
Mm-hmm.
That joint right there with Odell is crazy though.
Odell, what's up with the head, bro? But I saw the report.
Giants got Roy Robertson Harris. So somebody wants to Jaguars.
Would you mind having Odell back? I wouldn't mind having
Not
him
after
back.
those allegations. Hell no. Not after those damn allegations. So that ain't coming back no way.
It's too much going on in Baltimore right now.
The Titans really going to get Russell Wilson? Really? Okay.
For real?
Yeah.
That's the rumor. Talking.
Okay.
Yeah. How about the Bears getting Grady Jarrett? I like that move.
That's a good move.
That is a good move.
I was gonna say that's a good move.
The
Bears been making some trades too. I mean, I know we're talking about the Commanders. The Bears have made trades to Buffalo.
I'm talking about anybody, Dre. Anybody you see. I mean, it's a lot of teams.
No. The
How
Bears,
many moves to keep up with?
The first thing Ben Johnson did was get 2 linemen because he understands being in Detroit.
He
understands the assignment.
That's center.
That's crazy that Pat Curry got $30 million on the open market. That's. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's a premier backup though, but he can play every position. That's the key.
Versatility.
His versatility.
Here you go, right here. Hufanga.
Damn, 76 million.
Yo,
That's
he got. You want to talk about trade that ring in, cash out? Shit.
Maybe you could trim that beard up now. So he's getting all that money. Trading, trim it up.
Hey, Byron, where did Hufanga go? He went to the Broncos. I think he went to the Broncos.
Josh Palmer. Oh, Josh Palmer went to the Bills. I mean, to the Bills.
My GP Ryan, I saw that.
So there you go. They did get a wide receiver. They got Joshua Palmer.
There you go, right here. Whoo, he got that bag. I ain't mad at him.
Got that $12 million.
He wasn't getting the hit though.
Nah.
They racking up on the D line, ain't they?
They just throwing money. They just throw money around the NFL.
There it is.
2 years, 40.
It is. And ain't that crazy? He should have got picked by the Jets anyway.
Exactly.
He should have got picked by the Jets originally.
That's what I told Q.
Darius
Still
Slay.
is Jared. Ugh. Oh boy. How much he got left in the tank?
Not that much. He's like 34.
Oh, Byron, we were talking about this yesterday.
There you go. Same dog.
He's gonna get a Baker Mayfield deal.
Yep. Sam, does he make a difference though?
Would you say you going in and out? You are
Breaking in. All right,
Yeah, you breaking up. You breaking up, big fella. Yeah, he doing that robot. He doing that Charlotte Flair. that good old Charlotte Flair. That Yeah, he doing all that.
Any surprises from free agency?
Surprises would be well, I would say that the Bills giving Allen, that extension. That was a surprise. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a surprise. I didn't. You're not mad at it either, but I feel like he wasn't leaving the Bills. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that stood out to surprise me as far as a signing.
I ain't see Justin Fields going to the Jets. I think that was here we go.
I knew it was talks of it, but
here's the other safety.
Oh wow, 51 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
These brothers getting broke off. Just anybody. Man.
Isaiah Rodgers. I seen some stuff about him.
Yeah. DJ Reed to the line.
MVP that should have went to Lamar. Mark.
That's a good pickup for the Lions.
Yeah, see, there you go. He got broke. I mean, he about to be 35 years old. He got a nice little chunk of change. I'm like, are you serious? I like Morgan Moses, but come on, man.
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
60 million. Jesus.
Yeah. Dan Moore, he got 82 million.
Who?
Exactly. Yeah. Who are you?
Exactly.
God dang, man.
Yes. Never heard of you before, Dan.
Who?
That's right.
I know who you are now. You broke off.
you got money.
Who's that?
Yes. Paulson Adebo.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Corner. He played corner, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. I heard he played for the Raiders.
Yes.
Robert Spillane.
Yeah, I like what the Patriots are doing.
The Patriots got busy.
Yeah,
they did.
Definitely. There you go, brother. Thoughts? Got Jimmy G.
Oh, Jimmy G's back with the Rams.
He's enjoying California. There you go.
I bet he is.
There you go. Oof.
There you go.
A big overpay.
And Miss Swift said, "No big surprises."
No, she's right.
Yeah, I do think this is underrated. Elijah Mitchell, yeah,
underrated pickup.
Right, underrated. Braxton Barrios, yeah, this was another good pickup by the Bears. Getting Drew Dahlman, best interior lineman. So another lineman, Hassan Reddick.
The Buccaneers 14 million.
Come on, man.
Listen. I think he gonna like being in that defense because they like Todd Bowles love the blitz.
I'm glad they stuck by Chris Godwin after we hurt him, mistakenly hurt him. But
Apparently, the Patriots was going to give him like 20 million more, 30 million more. Guess he wants to win.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the dude. This was Trent Williams' backup, Cavante, and now he's starting for the Chiefs. He's only started like 4 games. Got 30 million just for being Trent Williams' backup.
I was checking. I was definitely checking for after Ronnie Stanley.
Okay,
but I know too much about him. But if he come from that pedigree, at least he can move.
Right.
But let's see. But it is a tall order taking over for Patrick Mahomes' blind spot.
Yeah, Ben Bredesen got a big old deal.
Yeah,
wasn't he a backup for the Ravens? A backup's backup.
Backup to the backup to the backup.
Back to the back.
Khalil Mack returns to the Chargers.
Khalil stay 18 mil. God damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we wasn't saying that.
J.C. Horn.
I guess we
100
wasn't
million. 100 million.
Horn.
Well deserved, JC. Well deserved.
I think it's like 70 guaranteed, something like that.
Damn, JC.
Yeah, that was crazy. Jared Garrett release. People don't want to play for the Giants, apparently, as you can see. Well, Cavante, at least they'll get the number 1 quarterback, potentially. Cam Ward, maybe.
Oh, there go your man.
Hey,
Jaden Daniels, plus 800, Cavante. So what does that mean? If you put down $10, you'll make what?
So you put down 100, you'll get 800.
Okay.
The $10 would be, I guess, 80.
80. Okay. Y'all hear that? People at home.
And then if you win, you'll be smiling like him.
There you go. Yeah. John Bates. I think I'm pretty much
My guy.
Butler, Odell again being goofy. Jake Matthews extended.
Yeah, they're just the earlier part.
The Bengals being goofy, Cavante apparently as well.
Look at all that money.
All the people they could have had.
They could be a contender if they'd have did it the right way.
But they're not going to be a contender. Yeah. They
jacked this all up. They jacked that all up.
They're in cap hell right now.
Mm-hmm. And they got to pay Chase, and Chase gonna get 40. Chase gonna get 40 something.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. And Higgins is gonna be unhappy. Cool.
Yep. And Donkey Kong. There you go, Raj.
Oh. Well, I was right and wrong. He did come to the North, but it just wasn't the Ravens.
Yeah. This is most guaranteed at signing in NFL history, by the way.
230. Jesus Christ.
Well, anybody left that y'all want to see? Possibly. I know Aaron Rodgers, but Russell Wilson. I know Raj mentioned Matt Judon, Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett's out there. Cooper Kupp looks like he's going to be released. Anybody else y'all want to see sign?
Zadarius Smith.
He's not coming here.
Zadarius got cut.
He gypped us twice. He's not coming to the Ravens.
Nah.
But
hey, listen, man. Listen, we still need some guys on the edge, and these guys, Matt Judon, Zadarius Smith, they can't cost a lot of money.
Nah, he can't. But I would love to have Keenan Allen. I'd take him.
Keenan Allen would be tough, low key.
I'd love to have Keenan Allen or Cooper Kupp, one of the two.
Cool.
But definitely Keenan Allen.
Wait, have the Rams released them yet?
No, not yet.
No, they said they probably not released them. No.
Well, go Ravens. Have a good night, Miss Swift.
Appreciate you as always.
Always.
You ready to get goofy?
Show.
Thank you, Miss Swift. Yeah, we have gone through all the free agents. No.
Still going in and out.
Okay. I'm frozen.
Yeah, y'all on your Wi-Fi doing some weird stuff. Doing that weird thing again as he is in frozen mode.
Now he doing the weird thing again.
Looking like an Arab.
Dre wants to laugh. Dre looked away.
You do look like an Arab, man.
Oh, gosh, something wrong here.
Well, now that's goofy. Stupid. Just stupid. Jam. Oh, jam. Hey, good guys. I didn't want to take up too much of y'all time. Welcome to Goofies of the Week, sponsored by the Flex Zone. Appreciate you guys for giving me a little bit of time to let me tell the good people what I thought was goofy this week. And I have two things, but I kind of want to have a whole discussion because I don't have all the information. And I know collectively we can get all the information. So I'll leave that one for the second one. But the first one's obviously Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, for those of y'all that don't know, he at one point we thought made it clear that he wanted to be out in Cleveland. He wanted to win. Obviously, he's tired of losing. Cleveland's goofy, all of those things. He doesn't want to be on that short list of Brown greats and to never really do anything. And he goes through this whole spiel of saying his goodbyes, saying he wants to be traded, him declining, basically declining like extensions and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, boom, he asks for a meeting with the owner. Damn the GM. At this point, I want to meet with the owner. Owner said, hell no. And threw it and made a paper airplane with a check and threw it down there to him. That's what he did. And he said, how much you want? And put $40 million on it, and they said, we'll do it. Like, Myles Garrett, what was all that for? You did all of that, all the goodbyes. It's so great being here, and now all of a sudden you want to be a Cleveland Brown for life. First of all, nobody wants to be a Cleveland Brown for life. I don't even know why I don't. That's not a thing. Nobody wants to be. You get drafted to the Cleveland Browns, and that's it. You figure out life from there, but you don't want to be a Cleveland Brown for life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a thing. Don't push that narrative. And now you're the highest paid non-quarterback, and you're cool with. I guess you're cool with losing. What was goofy is that you made such a big deal about it, and all you wanted was money. All you wanted was money, yo. You made it seem like winning was such a big thing, a big deal to you, and really high on your priority list. And it's not. It's not. He wasn't about that holdout life. And trust me, most players aren't, especially in the football world, because that money don't flow as it does in other sports. So, not coming to OTAs, not coming to training camp, missing games, that stuff costs money. And if you ain't got it like that, you know what I'm saying, that can really hurt. But Garrett didn't even make it to free agency. He didn't even make it through free agency. Like, what are we talking about? This was so stupid and so pointless. But what they say in SpongeBob, he's a phony. A big fat phony. Was that SpongeBob? Big fat phony. I think that was SpongeBob. We gonna go with SpongeBob. And if it wasn't SpongeBob, tell me what it is in the comments. But he's giving really phony energy. Garrett, big and bad, and it's like, you soft. You let the Browns punk you. You soft. But anyway, I'm also disappointed because the Commanders couldn't get him. Maybe that's why I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed because the Commanders had a legitimate shot. If the Browns would have put him on the trading block, the Commanders had a legit shot. But it's all good. If we can't get him, the Eagles can't get him. He stays there. He's gonna rot in Cleveland because this is his last big contract. That was for the Chappelle show.
With your broke ass.
Now I will say this: if the Eagles got him, Super Bowl, because I don't know how you stop Carter and Garrett.
Nah, it'd have been crazy. It'd have been real crazy over there, real crazy. Philly, they'd have been the favorites.
Yeah, I would have been like, that's nasty work, bro.
Instantly. But Mark, the L's are where's the L's? The L's that he will continue to take in Cleveland. That's where the L's are. But cool, money's money. Hey, listen, if I'm going to be losing, you got to pay me for it. And I guess that was Myles Garrett mindset. If you're gonna pay me to be a loser, I'm gonna be the biggest, highest paid loser. So fair enough. Highest paid non-quarterback, at least until Jamar Chase gets paid. So that's one goofy. The second one, all right, help me understand this. Is that Kenny Pickett?
Yes. This is a new quarterback.
Yeah.
Who?
The only
Go
championship
Google it.
experience, the only championship experience on that damn team. So this whole Xavier Worthy thing. So he has a young lady that he was entertaining. Apparently found out from the streets that she was cheating on him, right?
Yep.
Boom. She's staying in the house. He found out she cheated, told her get up out of there.
Yep.
Apparently, he's been trying for, I think, the better part of 2 weeks trying to get her out. And but no luck. He goes over there. She engages with him and is physical. Apparently pulls out one of his dreads and all that. Police get called. She lies because it's not even alleged no more. It was proven that she lied, saying that he was trying to choke her or trying to hurt her in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
When it was pretty much all her being the aggressor and basically being in a place where she really much no longer belonged and was no longer welcome. Yep, that's them. So later on, it was found out that she lied and it was false, and the charges were dropped because he was looking at a felony. He was looking at he was looking at a wild charge, definitely looking at a felony. And where did he go wrong? Where the goofy part is, where did he go wrong? Because we see instances like this all the time where young athletes are with their quote unquote significant others and things just go left. Where did he go wrong? I don't know nothing about this young lady. We only know about Mr. Worthy, but
well, she was a track runner for once. They met in college. She ran track. He played football. Of course, he made it to the NFL. She follows him along, and then she gets caught cheating because he hired a private investigator, and then he wants her out.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
I was thinking that, Drake. But I did not know he went to such lengths. So, which means he felt this prior to.
Yep.
So they have a history dating back to college.
Yes.
College.
They was going to get married. They was engaged.
Yeah, I saw this very goofy video that Byron showed us yesterday on our Sunday. Do we have a name for the Sunday show, Byron, yet? We don't have a name for it. But
what do you mean? Do we have a name? Come on.
Look at this.
Not a sloppy shop.
Look at this.
Okay. I thought it was a placeholder.
Different strokes in reverse, right?
I mean, I went with it. I start rambling. I was like Sundays. Sundays with Cavante. Rhymes.
We going with it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Thank you, people, for watching.
Sundays with me. So on the Sunday with Me show, Byron showed me that very goofy whole engagement thing post. So that was technically his fiance then, right? They didn't get married.
His fiance, yes.
It was his fiance.
My heavens. I guess better Better find out early than late. Why? I hate this. I hate this. Tom Brady in the courtroom. Tom Brady in the courtroom. Because every time somebody get in trouble, they show that Tom Brady gift. Like, oh, you in here too? Have my man got to get the fresh taper because she pulling out dreads and stuff. Oh man, it's very wildly unfortunate. The goofy thing is that it happens to so many young athletes. So many young athletes are not taking their time and choosing good partners to be with. And it's happening to everybody across all sports. You know what I'm saying? And I wish him the best. I'm glad he didn't get caught up with the whole snap. I'm glad it was found out that she was lying and all that, and he's able to get out of the situation. And technically he didn't have a wife, so hopefully he get out of this clean. But
season. It just might happen though.
Where's Dr. Umar? Where's Dr.
Oh
Umar?
no, he got his own. He should be on the Goofy of the Week too. Matter of fact.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah, he's got his own issues right now. He's been called out.
The Prince of Pan-Africanism is being goofy.
I'm not familiar. I got to see. I'm not familiar. I got to see.
I'll forward you the stuff.
Beautiful. But yep, those are my goofies. Those are my goofies of the week, man. Xavier Worthy and Myles Garrett and their goofy situations. Except this time Xavier he looks like he's going to get out with everything intact, let's say that. But y'all know my line, there's a thin line between goofy and great, and those brothers are on the wrong end of it. Got to do better.
Gosh, something wrong here.
Stupid. Just stupid.
Well, now that's
Dr.
goofy.
Deadbeat.
Jam. Oh, jam.
I was trying to find the Dr. Umar stuff, but it's so much goofiness. I mean, Lord Jesus.
No, look, that's something you gotta be sent off.
It ain't just him; it's his daughter too. They both goofy.
That's something you gotta send them off. It's too much for him right now, man.
Hey, Mark, wow.
Dr. Deadbeat is funny though.
Mark ain't shit.
Had to let Cravante hear that one. Episode 31 in the books. Episode 42 next week, Dre. Let's just say we're going down under. Stay tuned.
A-Town down under, huh?
Down under? What the hell?
I mean, I can tell you now. I can tell you now.
What the hell are you talking about? I got red on. What's going on?
Next week, we have the beautiful people from Steelers, Australia. So they have an Australian Steelers group.
Oh, yeah.
We're going down under. We have guests joining us from the land down under. Get your bloomin' onion, get your kangaroo, get your Outback Steakhouse, whatever you need to do. Aussie. We got some Steelers fans down in Australia. He's going to join us next week.
Okay.
I guess the time difference works out. We're going to talk about the DK Metcalf trade, see how the Steelers are doing in free agency, maybe who their quarterback is next week. So stay tuned. We're working on some guests. Got a lot of people coming through the show, through the podcast. So stay tuned. But Dre, episode 482 next week.
Okay. Looking forward to that. Little A-Town down under.
Good day, mate.
Hey, yo, I can't. Get him off.
No, don't get him off. We love you. We love you. If you love you, don't leave. Don't leave. Appreciate you.
All love.
Executive producer, and co-founder Drizzy Dre, Cravante Bebe. The Commanders making moves. We got draft profiles of prospects sent to me. And yes, Sundays with Cravante. That is the name that we're going with right now.
Sundays with me. Sundays with Cree. Sundays with me. Hey, man, I like where we going. We can do something with this, man.
And this week will be...
It'll be a little different this week, though, right? Because we got
depending on how Maryland... Yeah, depending on what Maryland does, it'll be... We'll see. But stay tuned. We'll see.
Fair enough.
But we'll probably be here either way. We'll be here either way.
Isn't it selection Sunday?
That's not till 6 after all the games. So if Maryland does play, they'll play at 3:30 in the championship game. So they got to get past Friday first. But I do know Friday, 6:30 to 11, I'll be here. Maryland straight into SmackDown. So if you want to join me, I'll be here for all Friday night, spending it with you guys. Maryland straight into SmackDown. But Raj, what do people need to do what they're watching right now?
If you're just new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. We appreciate everybody coming through. You know, we had the great Brian McFarland come through with the cap. And, you know, he did a great job, and he, you know, talked about, you know, certain things that goes on in the NFL when it comes to the cap. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Of course, we're going to have more content coming up as well. I mean, Byron had 2 shows earlier. I mean, he had the NFL draft, free agent frenzy a little earlier today. Then we had Raw with Brother Thoughts and Leo and myself. And of course, we had this great show tonight. So just hit the like and subscribe. You're going to like something on this damn channel. It might not be everything, but you're going to find something to like. Especially
That's it,
man. If you're a Maryland basketball fan, you're going to find something of worth on this channel. So hit the like and subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.
Yeah, you may see me live tomorrow, depending on what news breaks. Tomorrow night, though, NXT Roadblock from Madison Square Garden. Wednesday, AEW Dynamite. Thursday, you'll probably get a Maryland preview. Maybe live then. I'll be live tomorrow on the Wrestling Pod. So stay tuned. We'll have it on the channel. So double duty or triple duty again tomorrow. I need an assistant. But anyway, we'll have that tomorrow. And Thursday, we'll have some. Friday, Maryland and SmackDown starting at 6:30. So join us. We'll be doing that. And then this weekend, back with Cravante on Sunday and the Selection Sunday live stream. Everyone's been asking. We will have a bracket group. So everyone will be in the group. We'll see who do the best. We got all the Flex Zone members, family members. They're going to join us in the bracket. We're going to see who does the best. I don't know. We'll give the winner something. Give them a big shout out. And we'll do the bracket live on air Sunday night. I know Roger will be with me. Might have Cravante, might have Dre, might have D. So all-star cast talking about Maryland and the tournament again. We got Duke. We got the SEC teams. This is going to be a great March Madness tournament.
Yeah, baby. This our year.
Uh-oh,
man. Alex, this is our year.
There you go. Duke. And baseball is on the way as well. Unfortunately, Dre, Garrett Cole out for the year. Tommy John surgery. Not the Reunion Parade.
I know, but I mean, you know what? We'll still be all right.
Yeah, so stay tuned for episode 482. Like I said, we're going potentially down under. We'll work out the logistics. The podcast going worldwide. Who would have thought, you know? But Flex on Podcast, only place fellas give you sports how you want it.
When you need it.
Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell. Just hit it. We'll be here. Vote on the poll. Subscribe. The Flex on all social media. You know how to find us. We'll see us tomorrow in your sub boxes with some more content, maybe some NFL free agency. I'll be live talking AEW as well. And then tomorrow night for NXT. For Dre and Cravante and Big Raj, God's favorite host. Get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. We're putting the kids to bed. Hit that like button, hit that bell. And yeah, we're out of here, y'all. Have a good night. Thank you for watching episode 42. Big shout out to Brian McFarland yet again. We'll put that interview out tomorrow as well on the channel. So plenty of content to get you through your week. We'll see you when we see you. Peace.
Peace.